Did you know Henry VIII's precious son, Edward VI, was probably gay? Yep, you heard right. There is proof to suggest that Edward VI here was a homosexual. In case you didn't know, Edward VI was Henry VIII's only surviving male heir, and he was the long-awaited son that Henry VIII so desperately needed to continue the Tudor dynasty, and it is now suggested that he might have been gay. Prince Edward became Edward VI of England when his father Henry VIII died in 1547. He was just 9 years old at the time, and of course his council was pretty much running England for him. Edward was engaged a few times in his short life, first of all to Mary Queen of Scots, but this betrothal did not follow through into an actual wedding. Later on, he was going to be betrothed to Lady Jane Grey, but this never went ahead. And I'm sure by now you're wondering, where's this evidence that he's gay? Well, let me tell you. So, Edward VI here was of course Henry VIII's precious boy. So, when Edward befriended a boy called Barnaby Fitzpatrick, Henry VIII allowed Barnaby to become a part of Edward's household, and he grew up alongside Edward. Barnaby Fitzpatrick received a very similar education to the Prince of Wales, and by all accounts, they were very close. Of course, by this point, they are just 2 children, so there's no records of anything going on. However, a few years after Edward VI became king, so they were in their early teens, Barnaby was sent to France. And before he went, Edward is recorded to have said to him, "Behave yourself honestly and follow the company of gentlemen rather than pressing into the company of those ladies there." And during Barnaby's time in France, he and Edward VI continued to correspond quite regularly. A couple of years later, Edward VI sent a very clear letter to Barnaby that said that he should stay away from women. He disallowed him from dancing with them and said that he must only dance with them if the King of France himself commanded him to. I mean, I don't know about you, but why is he so bothered about Barnaby dancing with women? However, by this point in England, to be a homosexual was illegal. Henry VIII had passed, along with the Reformation, an act called the Buggery Act in 1533, which said that homosexuality was illegal. And sadly, because Edward VI died at just 15 years old, we'll never know for a fact if he truly was gay. But the theory has legs, and it certainly has some evidence behind it. But what do you think?